The year is 1997, and screenshots of F-Zero X are hitting N64 gaming magazines across the UK. I thought it looked like utter crap. To be fair, the game does look like crap in stills, but F-Zero X is actually awesome. When you play it, you get it, and it's one of my absolute favourite N64 games. F-Zero X is a 3D sci-fi racing game. Up to 30 characters, each with their own custom vehicle, will bomb it around various futuristic environments featuring jumps, loops and corkscrews, while trying to stay on the track and hopefully finish in a high place. It's a familiar concept, but one that the game takes and runs with. So, those graphics. F-Zero X is a fast game. In a time when 3D games were littered with slowdown, and even the best N64 and PlayStation games of the era were chugging their way through polygon worlds, F-Zero X ran at a completely smooth and blisteringly fast 60 frames a second. We may take 60 frames a second games for granted these days, and we certainly did pre-N64, but the dawn of polygon games brought with it games running at half of this at best. The mighty Ocarina of Time on the N64 ran at just 20 frames a second. This didn't hurt the game too much, but playing something like F-Zero X really shows the benefit of a blistering frame rate, particularly for a fast racing game. But that smooth gameplay came at a price. Every other possible thing is sacrificed for performance. Textures are incredibly low resolution and sparse. Tracks and vehicles are very low polygon, and the game audio is mono rather than the stereo standard of the time. But what the game gains from these sacrifices is massive. 30 individual vehicles flying around the track and colliding in the smoothest and fastest way possible. The game just feels wonderful to play. While on the face of it, F-Zero X may look like a similar game to its predecessor on the Super Nintendo, there are a number of important differences that really set it apart. First, the tracks take advantage of the 3D rendering. Verticality is used liberally throughout the courses, and the corkscrews and loops are genuinely brilliantly fun. Secondly, the game encourages the player to be very aggressive. By running into opponents, especially while hammering the shoulder buttons to lean in or double tapping them to spin, you can damage their vehicles, hopefully forcing them to explode and quit the race. As you take out opponents, the big number of racers at the top of the screen will start to tick down as more and more are sent spinning to their grave. The pink strip on the track that replenishes your energy refreshes much faster than it did on the SNES, seemingly to encourage you to actually use it up being a roadhog. Every time you take out an opponent, you'll get a little star on the right of the screen. It really feels like the game is doing everything to message to the player that they should be being aggressive. There's even an extra mode in the game called Death Race, where you just have to take out 30 opponents. It's great. So F-Zero X holds a special place in my heart. I love the GameCube F-Zero GX game too, but honestly, there's just something about X on the N64. The look, while simple, is actually really effective and cool. The combat in the races is fun and full of scope to learn and eventually master, and the speed is just breathtaking. I'm glad I didn't trust screenshots in the 90s to dictate my interest in the game. I'd encourage you to play F-Zero X if you never have. It's exhilarating, and I personally think it's one of the more exciting games on the Nintendo 64.